Hello. Uh, okay, we're going to talk about networking. Uh, See, in early days, the computers were not able to uh, communicate with each other, and mm, like for sharing file, transferring the file, and this kind of things, like email and this kind of thing. So, uh, in 1970 they start working on it, and so that the computers can talk to each other and get information from each other. So in order to computer to talk to each other, they have to know each other. You know, they have to have some ID. Like Mike want to talk to Jennifer, you know, they have the name. Say, Mike want to talk to Jennifer. They have, you know, that which person is talking to who. So in computer is the same. See, every computer has an IP address. What is IP address? IP address is a number that every computer has been identified, and every computer has IP address. Every devices that communicates with others devices, they have IP address. IP address, as you know, that has like this one. See, this is an IP address. It has, as we talked, we will talk about it later. We have class A, B, C. Class C started from 192 up to 233. This number here, and we will talk about it later. So, in order this computer talk with this computer, for local local area network LAN, you know, LAN is local area network. See, it's a bunch of computers that connected to each other, and they use some protocols. In order to communicate with each other, they have to use some protocols. And that we will talk about it later. In order to communicate with each other, that first of all we have to learn some of the basic some of the terminology. You know, what is client? Client, for example, you have a computer here, want to talk to a server. Okay, this is server, and this is a host. You know, what does this means? That what is host? Any devices that can send or receive the information is host. This could be host, that could be host, and in order this one to communicate with this one, this has to be IP, has IP address, and this has to IP address. And also there is another one called MAC address. MAC address is media access control. MAC address. See, every computer has a NIC. You know, a card, network interface card. In every devices there is a device. There is a device called NIC that has a MAC address. Okay, so any computer wants to talk to another computer, in addition to having IP address, they got to have MAC address too. Okay, see how I drew this one here. This is a local area network. See, we have local area network, we have wide area network, MAN, and you know there are so many things that you have to go and search for yourself, because this book, this class is going to talk about something that's very important, and very important for you to learn those basics. So, for example, this PC1, PC1 want to talk to PC2, and this is PC3. When I talk to this one, say, hey, I need some information. I want to transfer some file or whatever, you know. To communicate with that one, it has to know IP address, and also has to have MAC address. But the only thing PC1 knows that is the MAC address of this PC2. Okay, and then there is another protocol called ARP, address resolution protocol. See, it sends information to all these. Suppose we don't have the router here. This is switches work for the local. You know, I mean, if there are a bunch of computers in a building and they just want to communicate with each other and don't want to have, they don't need to communicate with outside world, they just need switch connect these two PC together. So what PC1 is going to do is going to say, hey, I'm looking for this address, looking for 92.168.1.10. As you know that you know the IP address. There has two parts. One part is for network, and this one here has for the host. It depends on the IP address. That in some IP address the network for example 10.001. You know this is class A, because from 1 to 126 here it's class A, and so from 128 to 191 is class B, and from 192 to 233 is class C, and then we talk about mostly, you don't need to know like class D or class E right now. We don't use it very much. So what is happening? The okay, I was gonna tell you like 10.0110. This is class A, and this is the network portion of this, and the rest is going to be host. See here, as you go from class A to class C, the number of the hosts is going to be less and less, and these are, I don't want to get to that right now, but right now let's see how this one is going to work. So PC want to talk to PC2. You say, hey, I have PC one say I have the only IP address, but I need to have MAC address too. MAC address, you know, is a number burned into the NIC. NIC is a, you know, every computer, any devices has NIC. NIC has a number on it that we will talk about later. That this another. That is the network interface card. That's the way you can this is the way you can you know, communicate with outside world. You know, this is right now we're talking about LAN, local area network. So what is going to happen? The PC said, hey, you want to talk to this, like Mike is going to talk to Jennifer. Okay, it has to ask the number, but having the IP address just is not enough. They have to know the MAC address too. So what is send an ARP, the message to all other devices in that network, say, hey, I'm looking for this address. Okay, PC3, they say, hey, this is not my IP address, so ignore that message. But PC2 say, hey, that is my IP address, so I will send you my MAC address. Like, you know, the MAC address, for example, 23 7A, and so on. There's 6 of them. FF CA 12 1 2 3 4 5 6 pair of 2 hexadecimal, like 1B. See, this is the MAC address. MAC address, you know that we're talking about hexadecimal. It's not from 0 to 9, and then 10 would be A, 11B, 12C, up to F, you know, 13, E, and 14 is going to be F. So you don't see any number like H, G, anything, because we talked. We are going to talk about it later. That why, you know, these numbers coming from. So what happened that this PC now say, hey, I'm looking for this IP, but I don't know the MAC address, and send the message to other computer. Maybe there are too many computers here connected, to this switch, and any computer that has this address, hey, tells tell this one, hey, this is my IP address. Now I'm gonna send you the MAC address. Then it will send this PC the MAC address. Okay. Now this computer knows the MAC address, and then they say information. They send the information, whatever the file, whatever it is, to this PC. So sometimes this computer, the computer PC wants to send a message or get information from another network. This is a network, okay? The network here, see, 192, 168, 1, 0. This is the network ID of these, and they get this number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It means that this is the network that this IP address coming from. That this computer want to send information to some data to this computer. Okay, what's gonna do? And say, okay, the only things this computer knows, because if you wanted to communicate two devices to communicate with each other, they have to know the MAC address. So it say send ARP to all these here. They say, hey, these are not mine. This time this computer say, I'm looking for this IP address, and I want to send information to that PC. Oh, okay, what should they do? Then first of all, for sending information to another network, this is a network, see? This is router. Router actually is a gateway to getting to internet, to outside world. This is just a company, inside the company, it's a bunch of computers connected to each other, and they want to communicate with outside world. Like there is a server here, Google, and you want to get some information from, this is for example, Google, and you want to get some information from there, upload, download, whatever, you know the IP address. Because actually what you do when you type in the browser to search for, say hey, www google.com. Actually, you're giving the IP address. Then we talk about DNS later. Actually, you're writing the IP address of Google. So the only things you know about the server or whatever, a computer in another network. This is another network. This is one network. This is another network. Okay. So what you should do, first of all, this is a IP address for the router. This PC finds out that for to first of all, the information has to get to this router, and then from this router to get to another computer in another network. So first of all, it's saying, hey, I want to communicate with this IP address, okay? And then what is that? Is the router IP address. It will go there. Okay, the router say, hey, this is mine IP. This is the IP address is mine. So it will send the MAC information, the MAC address to that computer. So when PC1 want to communicate with this one, it say, hey, I know the only things I know about that computer is IP address of this one. So after you send the information to router in this local area network, every computer finds out, hey, this is not my address, this is not my IP address. It's going to be something outside the network. So what happens that this computer saying ARP, and finally it gets to this computer. This computer say that is not my IP address, this is not my, but this computer say, hey, this is my IP address, and I give you MAC address back. Give the address, MAC address to that PC, and then PC1 finds out that this is the MAC address that they can communicate with this one, and it does communicate with this one, with this computer. So in order, let's talk about network devices. See, in networking, there are many devices that they work in different layer in order to send the information from one computer to another computer. And see what is the process of doing that is that the early days they made some models to the devices to communicate with each other, either in local network or wide area network or other different kind of local network, a local area network. So in order the computer to communicate with each other, they have to use some protocols. So protocols, you know, if protocol is just, see, we're talking about OSI model. And they have TCP/IP model too. You know, in order to communicate with each other, their OSI have some layers, and these layers, each of them, they do some job, and then, you know, pass it to the next layer. So in order to communicate, like there is a computer here, it's sender, and there is another computer here with a receiver. Okay. See, in order to send the information, it had to go to some process. You know, you want to send email, you want to transfer some file, like you know, if the file might be MP3, the document file might be you know, regular text document, DOC, and different kind of you know, files. So it has 5 layers. In order to communicate, this sender sending some information and getting some information from there, it has to go through this layer: application layer, presentation layer, session layer, transport, network, data link, and physical layer. So what are these layers? The application layer, like for example, you want to use Google. Okay. What the process is going to happen? You are going to download some information from there, or you want to send an email to somebody. So the process is first application. You use the application. You use the application layer, that like HTTP and so on. It will go to the application layer, pass the information to other layer in order to send information from this PC to this PC. This might be server or whatever. So it comes to the presentation layer. Presentation layer, see, it converts data to the converts and format data to the from presentation to application layer, and in this layer, encryption, decryption, and these things happens at this layer. So for now,